Hello and welcome to Take a Beat. My name is Tirza and I am the digital pastor here at IES. And Take a Beat is an IES podcast where we invite all of you to come, take a little break, chat about things that matter, only to launch ourselves back on the beat. Well, today we have a very special guest with us. We've been talking to teenagers a lot lately, and some of the teen leaders. We even had Titus co-host a bit of our podcast, but the person that we haven't had in a little while is Pastor Josh Kunze, who is our teens pastor.
Thanks for having me back, Tears.
Welcome.
It's good to be
Also,
back.
we have to thank him and his team for our current set. So this season 3, we are recording from the Teens Blue Room. Thank you for letting us do this.
Our pleasure. I mean, it is a very blue room,
It is quite blue.
but we have been very blessed to have been able to have our services in this blue room, and even better that you guys get to use it for Take a Beat.
That's right. Now we need to figure out what to use for season 4.
I know. I can't believe it's already season 3.
Yeah. It's season 3. Well, how are you?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good.
Okay. So, how's IS Teens these days?
IS Teens is awesome. I think I just love. I think one of the biggest blessings and honors in my life, and I really mean this when I say this, is when you get to journey with life through people, and people, I almost want to say, allow you into their lives.
Yeah.
They trust you with their stories,
Mm-hmm.
with their secrets, and not that that's the most amazing thing, I think, but
Secrets.
whoa. Not that that's the most amazing thing, although I don't take it lightly at all, but I think it's just when you get to see God work in someone's life,
Yeah.
change them, transform them, even challenge them.
Yeah.
I just think there's really nothing quite like it, and so being able to journey with the teens and seeing God work in their lives and in the ministry is just super duper exciting, and I'm excited to see what else the Lord has in store for the ministry and the teens and all of us.
Yeah. So with teens ministry, there's, like you said, you get to see a lot of changes, but they just go through a lot of changes in general when they're
Yes.
teenagers. Like when they come in, they're like 12, like straight out of kids' church. And then they graduate, they're 18 and
Senior
ready
cheerleading.
to conquer the world. And so what are some of the, I guess, most memorable things about, or changes or moments that you've seen the teens go through?
Like I said, I think as a ministry, not only do we want teens to grow spiritually, but we want to grow them in character. We want to grow them in skill and all that kind of stuff. And like I said, you've been a teens pastor, so
I thought you were going to say, you've been a teen. I was like, yes, I have
that
been
too.
a teenager.
But you know what it is like having somebody come in and try out for the worship team, and they don't know what ngulik means. They come late to practice. They don't know how to harmonize. And then you see them grow in their skill and talent, and then you see them start serving in ministry, and then you start seeing them from singing out of the sun, like leading worship, and like I always say, like whenever I see the teens lead worship, I'm like, where's this coming from? Like I feel like it comes from such a genuine heart and just like almost to say desperation and desire for Jesus, that I'm like, I want that, you know. And so like I said, I always say, like, people think as pastors, like, oh, they thank the pastor, but really I feel like, no, thank you guys for just continually inspiring me to love Jesus the way that they love Jesus. And so I think, like I
think
said, you
I'll-
see a lot of changes. You see
yeah.
people like go through their first heartbreak, you know, and as they're telling you these stories, you're just like, yeah, shouldn't have done that. Yeah, shouldn't have done that.
But
Yeah, shouldn't have done
sometimes-
that. And then you give them all this advice, you know, and then they go into their next relationship, and you're still like, yeah, shouldn't have done that. Shouldn't have done that. And I'm just like praying to God, please, before this person graduates,
Let them
I
get
pray
it.
that he's learned something, or he or she has learned something. And I mean, most of the times they do. Sometimes it takes a while. Some people are fast learners. Sometimes some people take a bit of time. But even those who take time, God's doing something in their life. Amen. So he's teaching them other things.
So let me ask you this: for you personally, why teens ministry?
Forever, yeah.
Okay.
No. I don't know, Tirza. Like I think, although I said I don't have a lot of exciting stories to tell about my youth, in terms of like, when I say about my youth,
I'm like I got stories.
I loved my teenage years, but what I'm saying is, I was never the teen that went through like the crazy, like, oh, just partying and like and getting wasted and all those kind of things. Right? I didn't go through.
No, I know. I was there.
I didn't ever go through those seasons, but I think like when I look at, I think it's just such a, like for me, even as a teen, although I didn't go through a season, it was such a process of like figuring out who I am, right, as a person, in my faith and in my belief. And I think more so now than ever, it's not in the world that the teens grow up now. It's like there's just so many different voices, noises, distractions, and I think like it's these really are some crucial years of their life. And I think just being able to love them, speak truth into their lives, direct them closer to, or help them grow in their relationship with God, is just something that is a huge, again, blessing and honor. And I couldn't see myself doing anything else, regardless if it's like we're talking like in terms of like as a teens pastor or not. Like I look at our leaders, they're it's not just the pastors who are pouring into these teens, but like I said, it takes a village to raise a child, you know, and whether it's the leaders, whether it's parents. And so I feel like it's just a crucial age that you would want to be a part of if given the chance.
Or even I think, you know, when you said it takes a village, I think it made me think about IES as a church in general, because I think one of the things that has been really good is that the church values teens and the church values kids as well. And so rather than teenagers being kind of put aside and be like, okay, this is your holding space or your daycare until your parents are done with their church, but teens like are given this space, and not just quite literally the space, but also just the space to grow and be themselves.
And I think teens will gravitate to the place where they feel like, and I would say they are a blessing, right? They're not a burden. They're a blessing. But a lot of times it's like, oh, teenagers are so hard. Teenagers are so complicated. And
sorry, adulthood is complicated.
Exactly. But if that's how we make them feel, then they will run otherwise. They will run to other places where they feel they are welcomed and accepted.
That's right.
Right. And so we want to make them feel like, hey, you belong here. You're a blessing. You're not a burden. You know, that's belong, believe, become.
Okay, let's talk about that. What does it mean to belong, believe, and become?
I think, like I said, when we look
does
at
it just sound good? Because it
does.
Good?
It does sound good, but I think it embodies what we stand for as a church here at IES. It embodies teens ministry. I think, like, even whether it was your time, Pansa's time, like
actually, I think we came up with this during Pansa's time.
Exactly, like belonging. Like ISS, we don't care where you've been, we care where you're going, right?
That's such a huge value to Pans, actually.
Everybody is welcome, and I love that about IES, and I love that about IES teens, right? You don't need to be a believer. You don't need to be the kid that grew up in Sunday school, IES is a place for you.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, when we look at the believing, I think that goes to, like I said, like us as a church believing that God's word changes lives. This is a place that they feel welcome. This is a place where they feel like they can encounter the one true living God, and grow in relationship, grow through community, and believing in the truth. Like I said, I think you always said, like, we don't water things down here for
That's
the
right.
teens. Like, let's do Revelation, let's do the the Old
Leviticus.
Testament, Leviticus, exactly. Like, let's go, and I think that's part of the believing, like, not just, okay, I'll just, like I said, I love it. Actually, I love it how teens actually wrestle with God about some of these things, right? Because they really want their faith to be their own, right? And I think that's
and
so
for it
important.
to be genuine,
and
as
for
well.
it to be genuine,
Yeah.
right? And then I think the becoming part is also crucial, right? Like, how can you know all this information, you believe it, but then what, right? Are you actually living it out? And I've been telling the teens this in recent weeks, like on Sunday and Saturday, because we have service on Saturday as well. We get the privilege of going to church, right? But every other day, or when we're not in this building, in this facility, we get to be God's church, right? And that shouldn't be limited to us doing serve the city or going on a missions trip, but every single day of our life we get to live out our faith in our friend groups, in our family groups, when we're having a conversation with the sapam as we enter this building. That's the whole idea of belonging, believing, and becoming.
So I'll just wanted to talk about the whole belong part, because that's, I think, the big thing for a lot of teenagers actually, is to find a place where they feel like they belong. And so how do you guys do that in IES teens?
How do we do that at IES teens?
Because this is where I'm going with this, because I know for a fact that there are some people who come, and I'm not only talking about teenagers, but also like adults who come to church and they're just different. Like, either they're neurodivergent, or they come from a very different background, and so they're not used to interacting in the same way, or they like, with teens, they go to different schools, so the others are doing IB, and this kid is doing something completely different, for example. So how do you facilitate belonging in IES teens?
I think as a ministry, we just try to be extra intentional about making sure that everyone feels included, right? Whether it's the activities we plan, the events that we have, it's everybody's welcome. Like Sports Night Live, right? When we talk about Sports Night Live, it's like, you think like, okay, this is hardcore sports. I mean, yes, we have some of those teens who are like hardcore, and I always need to be like, relax. But like I said, you have the guys playing with the girls, you have the people who know how to slam dunk, and you know how people who don't even know how to dribble a ball, just coming together. We did our prayer labyrinth few months back, and we had this wall where we wanted to have the teens stick out just like their adoration post, really, which was just kind of saying like almost a thank you to God, or who God is. And one of the notes that we had a teens write, although I still don't really believe in God yet, IES teens has been extremely welcome, and I never ever want to take this for granted, or not have been here in the first place. And I think for me that was just something so, again, meaningful and powerful, because you have this person who's still wrestling through things in their faith, but there's just this pulling and this sense of belonging here. And I think, like I said, like, that can only be the Father's heart, the Father's love, that somehow makes him feel like, hey, I don't see things the way these people do yet. I don't do things the way these people do this, but I feel loved. I feel like I'm part of the family. And I so strongly believe that God is already doing things that this teen doesn't even know fully understand yet.
That's right.
But I think like just this idea of belonging has just really been a value that we really emphasize and push on. Like we want everybody to feel welcome. Like I said, I always tell, like, especially when it comes to our core ministers, do we still have time? Our core ministers, like, church is great, and we want people to be friends, like, and see their friends at church. But again, I think, like, are you coming to church for yourself, or again, like, are you living, or is that becoming part, right? And so, like, when we have our little powwows, like our ministers meeting, which are all people who are in the ministry, I remind them every single week, like, hey, in service today, when you see people that are sitting alone, when you see people that are here for the very first time, I expect you to not just be friendly. I just came back from a conference last week, and they were saying, like, like you're in an airplane, and the stewardesses are just so nice to you. They give you a smile as soon as you leave the airport, as soon as you leave the airplane, and you're kind of like walking through and or getting your baggage. It's just like you don't even talk to me, right? Kind of like, and we don't want to be that kind of church, right? We want to be people who genuinely welcome, who are genuinely friendly. And again, I think that can only happen from, like, when we're not leaning on our capacity to love, but our Heavenly Father's capacity to love.
And I think, what you were talking, especially with that, the one of those notes in the prayer labyrinth, you can see that the belong comes first, even before the belief.
Yes.
And I think I'm glad that the order is belong, belief, and not like, oh, you have to believe first in order for you to belong,
or behave
first. And that was the thing. That was.
Although sometimes I'm really like,
no, and
can I set some more rules?
That was the first discussion, because I remember when we were coming up with belong, belief, become. One of the words that was thrown around was behave, and then I think we were like, no, it's becoming, not behave, and that can be hard.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me ask you this. So I actually had the chance to interview some of the teens who were involved in recording the song "Deeper." Was it?
Correct.
Yes. So if you haven't yet, please stream it, because at this time it's already out.
I think it's out tomorrow, like as we're recording
this. Yes, and
tomorrow.
By
Is this going live tomorrow?
No. By this time, it's all out there. So stream IS Teens Deeper. But that kind of points to another event that's coming up. So can you talk about that?
Yes. So
the event that I'm talking about.
Deeper Conference, 2025, September 5th and 6th, which happens to fall on a public holiday, which is a Friday, and then a Saturday on the weekend. So there's really no excuse for anybody not to go. But this is our third conference. We started with Back to the Throne, and then last year it was Awakening. And this year our theme for the year is Deeper. I think, like, Back to the Throne was all about like getting right with God. Awakening was like just like having that spiritual awakening. Yes. That boom moment. And then this year, I think, like I said, when we look at God, I think it's just, there's no end to his love. There's no end to who he is. And so we really want to, whatever the teens have experienced or gone through, I feel like there's more, right? And so our key verse for this year is Jeremiah 29 verse 13.
Yes, 29 verse 13. Yes.
Not that one.
Okay.
This is a different Jeremiah verse that we use, but it talks about seeking him and finding him when you seek with all your heart. Right, and that's really our desire, that teens not only come with open hearts, that they come willing, but they come with expectation to what God wants to do. And so I think it's going to be an amazing time. We have Pastor Hans and Pastor Laura coming back, who will be speaking. We have my aunt, Tante
Who's your aunt?
Tante Dewi Yusuf, who will from the collective who will be joining us as well.
Yeah.
We have Pastor Tony Ronaldo from Bethlehem, GSJ
Yes, yeah,
Bethlehem,
Bethlehem.
joining us as well. We have PD, we have Sister Gigi. So it's just going to be a fun time.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a powerful time. And so if you're watching this and you know of any teens, sorry, I'm looking at the wrong camera. If you're watching this and if you know of any teens, regardless if they go to IES or they don't, we would love to have them. So please do spread the word and invite everybody to come to Deeper Conference 2025, September 5th and 6th.
Why don't we put the information on the screen? There's the QR code and sign up. Although, I don't know if you remember this, but didn't we do a deeper conference?
Yes, and we've been talking about having a deeper conference for, I think, for several years or a few years back even.
Yeah. No, because, okay,
still?
so deeper still or something like that. So, when, this is way back when Josh and I were teenagers.
Not so long
ago. We did, like, kind of like a worship night, something like that, at my school, and it was called Deeper.
Yeah.
And so that kind of just got, I don't know, imprinted in my mind. And so when you guys were like Deeper Conference, I was like, ooh. But yes,
it's gonna be good.
I think that's gonna be good. Okay, well, I think that's all the time we have.
Thank you for
Thank
having
you
me.
so much for being here and sharing your heart for teens and the teens ministry. And so, for all of you, if you have a teen or you are a teen and you're watching this and you want to check out IES Teens, we have services when?
Saturdays at 5 and Sundays at 11:30. And we also have soap groups, life groups all throughout the week. So
yeah,
there's really always something going on at IES Teens. So come check us out.
Yeah, please do. All right. Again, thank you so much.
Thank you, Pastor Tirza.
And thank you for listening. We will see you again next week for another episode of Take a Beat. Don't miss a beat.